Every American who cares about the future of our country needs to watch this video with Representative Byron Donalds. The EPA is another alphabet agency that is exceeding their authority, acting as if they're Congress. They are what Trump calls the administrative state, the state that tries to impose its will upon the American citizens. And let me tell you, the Biden administration has a very strong administrative state. They have all these rules that are trying to impose woke energy, electric cars, all new cars by 2030. The reason I call it woke energy is because it's not achievable that quickly. They are pushing unrealistic standards that are going to harm the least of these, that are going to harm Americans who are lower on the socioeconomic scale. Watch Byron Donalds ask the right questions and let's talk about it.
One thing, let's be clear, the EPA has no authority for this rule. Once again, we have another agency somewhere in this administration coloring in the outsides of whatever their congressional purview is. And this administration is more than comfortable doing it because they know they cannot come to the Congress to get the votes for what they want to do. That's why EPA is doing this. I know this is a different committee I sit on, but that's why the SEC is doing what the SEC does, and we can go all through the alphabet soup agencies. Mr. Bradbury, a couple of things. I want to just get to a couple of key areas here. Oh, well, lost my place. Here we go. True or false? President Biden says he wants 50% of new cars to be electric by 2030.
True, but I guess now it's 60%.
Okay. True or false, in order to meet Tesla's EV needs, and this is only Tesla, by the way, by 2030, global lithium supply must be increased by X times.
Oh, it definitely has to increase somehow. We don't know from where. It has to increase greatly, yes.
Okay. True or false, a typical electric car requires 6 times the mineral inputs of a conventional car.
Yes.
True or false, the nuclear energy is the most viable option for a steady stream of reliable, affordable, carbon-free electricity to power EV charging stations 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
I'm sorry, what?
Nuclear power.
Yes. That's
Okay.
that's my understanding.
Okay.
Not an expert, but.
That's fine. Last question. If 50% of the cars were electric vehicles today, is there enough power on the electric grid to charge them all?
Absolutely not, no.
I want to circle back to one thing, and Ms. Baker-Bransford, I was listening to your testimony. We kind of established the fact pattern that in order to accomplish what I believe you do support, we'd have to massively expand lithium mining, not to mention other mining capacities. Currently in the world today, who dominates lithium mining?
So lithium processing is dominated by China. It's mined in several other places as well.
Do you know some of the countries where it's mined?
In South America as well.
South America, any other places? Are they mining in Africa?
Lithium, I don't think it's a major lithium producer, no.
Okay, are they mining cobalt in Africa?
Yes.
Is cobalt necessary for an electric vehicle?
It is in the dominant chemistry at the moment, yes.
Okay, let me answer this question. You say in your testimony that essentially referring to the current internal combustion engine, that in addition to carbon dioxide, heavy-duty vehicles emit or contribute to ozone, particulate matter, nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, carbon monoxide, and other air toxins that are especially harmful to children's developing bodies. Are you aware that the Chinese use child slave labor in some of their mines to mine critical minerals?
Yes, and in Africa as well. That's why we need to onshore and friendshore the supply chain. We should clean it up, and we should be very involved and be a leader in this space.
Do you think that the United States should even be dealing with electric vehicles right now, considering all critical minerals come from mines that employ child slave labor?
So, like I said, it's important for us to move in the right direction, and the IRA incentives are helping us do that, both for domestic content as well as critical minerals coming from safer places.
I got a question for you. Since the EPA is so enthralled with what's coming out of the tailpipe of an average American, is the same EPA going to be just moving through the permitting for new lithium mines and other mines in the United States? Or are they going to also want to put that off on other countries?
So lithium mining is on the table in the United States. And
On the table? Define.
Yes.
Explain that.
that there are permits that are currently pending.
So the EPA that wants to ban gas stoves and is concerned about what's coming out of a tailpipe now wants to allow lithium mining in the United States? They're just going to say, oh yeah, cool, let's do it?
So mining definitely needs to be done in a safer way. The US and North America can do it safer than other places. This is true for all mining, for all consumer products and everything, including
Now,
traditional vehicles.
I'm glad you said that because I actually agree with that point. The United States can actually mine for all these critical minerals, whether right here at home, which means jobs for Americans, but also in friendly places around the globe. But we can actually do that better, and we do it cleaner than the Chinese do. My concern is that the EPA's radical push towards electric vehicles, what that's really going to do, it's going to price out the very poor. Poor people don't have money to buy an electric vehicle. I know because I grew up poor. We didn't even have a car. So then if I just have a car and you tell me that I have to spend $20,000 more to buy an electric vehicle, I just find that to be crazy.
Right.
Because that disrespects my pocketbook. It disrespects the pocketbook of every American on the lower side of our economic spectrum. Wouldn't you agree with that?
So EVs are dropping in price, and the standards from EPA are for new vehicles.
Mr. Chairman, I know I'm out of time. Quick question for my indulgence. What's cheaper, a internal combustion used car or an electric used car?
It depends on the vehicle class and type.
Come on. I yield back.
So not only do we have ourselves in a situation where we don't have the rare earth minerals necessary to make these vehicles here in America, and they're being made elsewhere with child labor. They're being mined elsewhere, with child labor and very dirty practices where we could be doing it better here in the United States. As Byron Donalds said, we're not going to be able to count on the EPA to easily bring that mining to the United States. And furthermore, how are you going to tell these poor families they got to get an electric vehicle? Yeah, the regulation might just be for new vehicles, but eventually they're going to be phasing out those cheaper gas vehicles as quickly as they can. They're going to try to make everybody go pure electric. And a third problem, the electrical grid cannot handle all electric vehicles right now. I love Teslas. The acceleration is insane. I'm an Elon Musk fan, but if you charged every single electric vehicle in America, the amount that they want for everyone to have on the electrical grid, it couldn't handle it. It would go out. So we're not ready for this. They're pushing too fast. That's why I call this woke energy, and it is completely unsustainable. They're acting as if they have the power of Congress. They're the administrative state that Trump warned us about. They need to go to Congress to get the authority to do these types of things and quit acting independently. That's why more of these things such as this is ending up in front of the Supreme Court. Supreme Court saying, no, you got to go to Congress. You're not Congress. The executive branch cannot act with such haste and with such power as the congressional branch. The congressional branch was elected by the people. They have the power to pass laws. Now, rules and regulations is one thing, but when they start getting so encompassing and changing the nature of society, you're heading in the role of legislation, and the EPA doesn't have it. And Representative Byron Donalds realizes that, and great on him to question these people, to hold them to account about how unrealistic their woke energy plans are over the next 7 years. It's not going to happen. We got to redo the whole electric grid before that's even possible. And another scary thing about electric vehicles is that they can be controlled. They could be shut off by remotely at any time. Gasoline vehicles, much more difficult to do that. You can be more independent. So hands off EPA. Let Congress legislate, not you, not the administrative state. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Follow on Facebook and the other platforms. Americans for Limited Government will be back with more great videos soon. Have a great day.